welcome to the Let's Think About It podcast, where we embark on a journey of thoughtfulness and personal growth. I'm your host, Coach Mo, and I'm here to guide you through thought-provoking discussions that will inspire you to unlock your full potential. In each episode, we'll explore a wide range of topics from self-discovery and mindfulness to goal setting and achieving success. Together, we'll challenge conventional thinking and dive deep into the realms of possibility. Whether you're looking to find clarity in your personal or professional life or seeking strategies to overcome obstacles, this podcast is your go-to source for insightful conversations and practical advice. So find a comfortable spot, chill, and let's embark on this journey of self-improvement together. Remember, the power of transformation lies within you, and together we'll uncover the tools and insights you need to make it happen. So let's dive in. Welcome to another episode of the Let's Think About It podcast. I'm your host, Coach Mo, and I'm here with another amazing guest. His name is Jordan Tait. Jordan, my man, what's good?
Hey, Mo, thank you for having me. Love the energy.
Man, one of the things, I'm happy that you're here, but one of the things that I kick off is you got to tell our audience where you're calling in from.
I'm calling from a small town called Gibsons on the coast, just outside of Vancouver, Canada. So I live near the beach and the mountains and the forest, and it's beautiful out here.
That's awesome. Born and raised in that area?
Yeah, born and raised in Vancouver.
Nice. What's a great thing that you enjoy the most about Vancouver?
For me, it's the access to nature. You can be on the beach, you can ski, you can get in the forest every day, you can get out to the islands. So it's access to nature and living outdoors as much as possible.
I'm feeling a calming vibe from you too.
Yes.
That's awesome. So what you do? Tell my audience who you are and what you do.
So I've been coaching businesses for the last 8 years of my career, and helping people build a business that provides the life they want is what I'm most passionate about. So I work with a lot of people all the way from day one when they're launching a business, they've got a big dream, but they don't know how to make it happen, up to 6 figures, 7 figures a year, building a team, building the systems and the structure to earn great money, but more so to have great freedom and work hours that are reasonable and don't lead to burnout.
Okay. How did you get to this point? I want to be in coaching. I want to help business owners grow to 6, 7 figure businesses. How did you get to this point?
What I like to say is I didn't end up here on purpose. Earlier in my life, in my 20s, I had a painting business to pay for school while I was at university. So all summer long, I would paint houses, be up on a ladder all day. And then
I remember that. I used to do that.
It's a great entry-level business for a lot of people. So I did that for a few years. And when I got to the point where I realized I don't really want to do this for my whole life, I was starting to look for new options. And I found a franchise called Wow One Day Painting that sells painting businesses and then teaches people how to run them and grow them. So I stepped into a coaching and a training role with them and got to travel all over North America, training people how to grow a painting business from scratch. And in doing that, I had never even worked with a coach before. I had never coached anyone, but I got to develop those skills and see the power of coaching. And as I got further in my career, I just realized that the thing I want to do most is help people achieve their goals in business and in life. And I believe coaching is by far the most powerful tool for helping people do that, getting the clarity, taking the action, and understanding what gets in the way. And so that's what I'm all about now, is purely coaching people to achieve their goals.
Yeah. And one thing about us as coaches, we have a tendency to have walked that journey in our own kind of careers or whatnot. We found a way to pull us out of whatever that situation is that we were dealing with at that time. For me, losing my job, feeling stuck, feeling this overwhelming self-pity about myself, and just carrying a lot of that inner critic that just limited me, and then being introduced to coaching and just being pulled out of that rut and feeling, wow, this is powerful. I want to be able to support people. And you talk about helping like business owners get out of their situation. But before we tap into that, tell me a little bit about a certain challenge, struggle that you had to just personally walk through that gave you the light bulb to say, I need coaching, or a coach that worked with you, helped you navigate out of that scenario. Explain to my audience what was that aspect like before you took that leap into becoming a coach and mentoring and coaching others out of their own ruts.
You completely nailed it. For me, I felt very similar when I was 26. I felt stuck. I felt lost, felt behind in my life. I looked at other people who were going after their dreams, doing bigger things, and I realized that I wasn't clear on what that looked like for me. So the journey that I like to talk about is going from burnout to balance. And the burnout for me was when I got into that corporate job and I was training and coaching business owners. I loved what I did, but I was traveling 2 to 3 weeks a month for 4 years straight. I was on airplanes. I was in hotels. I was in Ubers. I was eating out at restaurants every day. And at first it was really fun. The longer I did it, the bigger a toll it started to take on my mental and physical health. And by the end of that period, I got to the place where I had insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't exercising. I was eating poorly, and I could literally barely drag myself through days. So I quit, and I decided I need to rebuild my life. I need to take care of myself, and I need to go after a more balanced approach to living. And in making that decision, I also looked around and realized a lot of other people are living in that similar place. They're grinding. They feel more drained than energized. And when you feel that way, it feels insurmountable to break through and to go after the things that you want, because you're just trying to survive the day.
Right.
So through going through that experience and finding solutions that help me find balance with boundaries, with work-life balance, with freedom, with taking care of myself, I realized how much better I felt, how much more capable I was and alive. And then I decided I want to give this feeling to as many people as possible, because it is possible to break through burnout, and you can build the life and the business that you want without grinding. But it comes from having the capacity to think straight and to take care of yourself and to sleep well. And that's where I like to start with people.
Yeah, that's great, man. So I got this thought. You got this client or prospective client, and they're grinding. That's all they know. Grind, because they got to make that extra buck. They got to survive. They're trying to get to that space of success. And in their mind, success is making a certain amount of money, being at a certain level, title, whatever, right? They have this vision of whatever that looks like, but they're grinding and they don't know no other way but to grind. Take my audience through, how do you help shift that viewpoint from that grind mindset to other possibilities, that there's a better way?
I love the way you put that. So where I start with people is understanding what's really important to you in life. Why do you think that having a certain amount of money or certain title or certain whatever it is that you're working towards so aggressively, why do you think that is going to help you get the life that you want? And when I ask most people, what do you really want in life? It's, I want to spend more time with my friends and family. I want to take more vacations. I want to feel secure and free. And we all believe that a certain amount of money will give us those things. It's a very broadly shared story. You work all your whole life, and then at 65, you retire. And now suddenly you're free and you have time and you get to enjoy yourself. I looked at that path and I thought, that doesn't appeal to me. I want to live my life fully the whole way through. I want to have freedom to travel. I want to have time to live. And in helping people realize that the thing that they want, time and freedom, is available to them today as soon as they stop working so hard. It's helping people break through that mindset. So if you're working, like some people I talk to, 12 hours a day, 11 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, the reason your life sucks is because you don't have enough time to live it. You don't have enough time to be present, to take care of yourself, to take care of the people around you. And we attach our satisfaction to this number because it's easy to watch a number grow and feel satisfied by it. But more money doesn't always lead to more time and more freedom. And breaking the belief that the only way to get what you want in life is to have more money is a big part of breaking free from that grind. So for me, I had to figure out, when I quit my job and quit the grind, I had to figure out what's enough. How much money do I need to live the life I want to live right now? And it was significantly less than I thought. It wasn't tens of thousands of dollars every month. It was like $6,000 a month. If I can make $6,000 a month, I can pay my bills, I can take care of myself, I can enjoy myself. And a lot of us don't do that math and figure out what kind of life we want to live and how much it costs. And therefore we blow past it because we just keep chasing it. And there's always a number, there's always a higher number, right? You hit 1 million, suddenly you want 2. You hit 2, you want 10. To summarize, the first step in breaking through from the mindset of I have to grind to hit my goals is recognizing what's really important to you in life, recognizing that it's possible to get there sooner if you actually work less and live more.
What I hear is putting your values first, identifying what those key values are and go all in on those values, right? Because like you said, we are distracted by what I say, the inner critic. And the inner critic distracts us, making us think that we need to be more competitive than person A, B, or C, right? And so that includes, I need to have this amount of money or be at this title because it's always been drilled in my mind that's what success is. But as you said, when you start talking to these clients, what comes from that is they want more time, more freedom, which ties back to values. And this is where I'm going to ask you, because it took a lot of courage to break free from your grind. What was the value that you leaned in with that gave you the courage to take that leap of faith? And talk more about that aspect and how you guide your clients to promote their values so that they can do similar leaps.
You absolutely nailed it. Like when we don't have clarity on what's most important to us, money is the most common value that people chase, and it's outward success. But when you do the work and you look inside and you say, what do I really care about and need? For me, it was my relationships are the number one most important thing in my life. The person that I live with and love, my family, and the friends that I have. And part of the grind was it was taking me away from all of those. I was away from home too much. I didn't have the energy to give them the love and the connection that I wanted. The second is my health, my physical and my mental health, because I don't want to be sacrificing that for anything else. I want to live a long, healthy, energized life. And again, the grind was taking me away. I was skipping exercise because I had no energy. I was eating poorly because I was always rushed and stressed. So relationships, my health, and then the third value for me is freedom. I want independence. I want to be able to live and work anywhere I want. I want to be able to choose how I spend my time. And that's why I'm a business owner, because tomorrow, if I wanted to, I could clear my schedule and take the day off. And I routinely take Fridays off, and I routinely take weeks off because my freedom is the reason I started the business. So with those three in mind, I then from day one built the business to provide those. My business is called The Intentional Business. And it's intentional because it's built around the values that I have. And then everything else comes after that. So if I have a client who wants to take over too much of my time or wants a call at a time when I could be spending time with friends or family, that's compromising my values, and it's a very easy no. But what I think I see with a lot of people is when you don't have the clarity of what's important to you and what's driving you, money and work and success will always be taking precedence in your life.
That's awesome. But let's go a layer deeper. How do you help a person identify those values, though? Because there may not be no belief or awareness around the values. The most important thing is I need to make money. I got to pay these bills. I got this and this. What's your methodologic approach in helping them slow down to identify values?
So I believe that when we're deep in work, we're stuck in the weeds, our head is down, we're just trying to get through every day and we're so busy, it's really hard to think very clearly about where we're going in our life. We're just literally just pushing through. At least that's how I felt. So when I connect with clients, the initial question I ask is 3 to 5 years from now, what does your ideal life look like? And the reason, and this is vision work, but the reason it's important to go a little bit further out is because when we think short term, we often sabotage ourselves. We hold ourselves back out of fear. We think, I'm not capable of getting there in the next 3 months or 6 months or years. You got to pull a bit back and just say, okay, like without worrying about the how, describe your ideal life. And this is how I know that so many people who are chasing money, who are working crazy hours, who are feeling consumed with work, when they step back and they think about it, like I could basically tell you every person's response. It's, I want to spend more time with the people I love. I want to take better care of my health. I want to take some vacations. I want to enjoy what I do. And I want it to feel sustainable. Although we're thinking 3 to 5 years out, then my next question is, what are some things that we could start to change today to get you on the path to making that real? And we don't have to create the pressure that it happens in a few months. Truly, as soon as a person recognizes where they're aiming, what's important, and you know this as a coach, then starting to take the steps to get there, you can go so much faster than you think. I've had clients go from working 80 hours a week down to 40 within a few months. I've had people who have never taken a vacation in their business in 8 years take a vacation in 3 months and feel that freedom. So it doesn't have to be put off. But again, when you're stuck in the grind, when you're deep in it, it's really hard to pull your head out and think about that and feel like it's possible.
You ever experienced working with a client where they're in the grind, but they're in the grind intentional? Let me reframe that. They're in the grind on purpose because they're trying to avoid a dynamic at home so that they can stay busy to avoid that dynamic. Have you worked with a client in that realm? And then how have you helped shift that viewpoint? Because I find like this whole conversation is very interesting because you talk about grinding freedom, and there is that population of people who are looking for that extra freedom. But then there's that other population that people are doing it to avoid from even being at home because of a certain dynamic. How do you work with clients in that form?
So deep and so true. A lot of overwork comes from an avoidance of the problems that we have internally or at home. So you're feeling anxious, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling fear around something in your life, whether it's a difficult relationship or a failure to go after the things that you really truly care about. And therefore, putting yourself deeper into work is a really good distraction. And it works really well. It works really well for a lot of people. I think if you look at some of the most successful people in the world, they're successful because they're running from being able to spend time alone and be satisfied with themselves. If you've ever seen an interview with Elon Musk, he doesn't look like a guy I want to live like or feel like. There's a lot of examples of that. But again, if you're running from doing that internal work and you're burying yourself in work as a way to avoid truly accepting like what's important to you in life. And I've been there. I've been in that place where I had dreams. The dream of starting the business that I'm running today, it took me 6 years to accept it and to be willing to bet on myself and go after it. And in the meantime, I just was like, I just got to keep working on other stuff because I don't truly believe in myself enough to go after it. But that won't ever go away if you keep burying it in work, if you keep avoiding it. It will just be there. It'll linger. And the sooner we, with a therapist, with a counselor, with a coach, do the work to understand what's driving me to push so hard, what's driving me to miss out on the life that I have, the life I've worked so hard to build? And do I believe enough in the life that I want that I'm willing to make some changes? And not everyone is. I do talk to people who they say, I know I'm grinding, but I'm going to keep going for a few more years. And they have a finish line in mind. And they say, as soon as I hit that finish line, I'll slow down and I'll get comfortable. But I've also had the opportunity to work with over 300 business owners, again, from day one up to tens of millions in revenue. And I've seen people hit the big milestone and then just the finish line moves further out. Suddenly it's just this bigger number, and there's always a bigger number, and there's always a reason that we think we can't be happy today. To me, life is right now. Life is not 10 years from now, 5 years from now. It's not in the future. It's right now. And we can choose to enjoy it fully if we give ourselves the time to experience it.
Yeah, that's one thing I always share with my clients is now, in the now. You can't change the past because it's already happened. The future isn't here yet. All there is right now. And the things and the activities that you do today, in this moment, right now, contributes to what our future can potentially be. Right. And I love this conversation because when you're talking about grinding, right? I'm an energy leadership coach. When you're talking about grinding, energy it can be draining over time. And there's certain emotions that come with that draining effect of just grinding every day. Fear of failure. I got to work harder. I got to work harder. I got to work harder, right? The fear of failure creates self-doubt at certain points, and it just makes you feel just so down in moments, not as a whole, but just in certain instances in the grind. And what I do is help people see the other side of it, the antibiotic energy, the fueling, the synergetic, and the reminders of how important your family is to you. What's the joy? What's the synergy that you get when you're most successful? And how do you maintain that balance, right? Because there's the grinding, which is you're doing your heads down, got to get this, and you do achieve it, but it's exhausting too, right? So, how can a business owner, a CEO, whoever, work without needing to be in that grind? What do you teach them? What do you help them shift from?
You nailed it with the fear of failure is a huge driver. And there's also scarcity. Feeling of scarcity is a big driver. The feeling that I don't have enough and I need more. And it could be money. It could be the money that creates the financial stability, the opportunities in your life. There's a lot of things, but scarcity and fear of failure, when we're operating from those, is we operate from a very negative place. There's pressure, there's anxiety, there's stress in that. And it can fuel us to do great things, but I don't think it's a sustainable fuel. It's an expensive fuel to burn because it takes a huge toll on you mentally. That's where I got to. In thinking about how do I break through that mindset, the first thing I like to do with people after we're clear on the vision of the life that they want is say, what does that life cost? What do you need? What do you need to have to get that life? How much money per month? What would make you feel really safe and comfortable and stable financially? And then let's make that the goal. And a lot of people, when we do that math, they're already there, or they're so close to there that it doesn't, again, it shortens the timeline. They don't have to wait years to get there. They could realize, oh, if I was making X amount of dollars per month, and it's different for every person and every lifestyle, I would feel stable enough that I could accept slowing down, pulling back a little bit. And that gives people like breathing room. And I also believe when you're operating from the opposite place, when you're operating from energy, passion, meaning, and you're charged up because you're taking care of yourself and you're doing good work, you're going to succeed significantly more anyways, and it's going to be sustainable. So I ask people all the time when I start to work with them, if you had to keep working the way you're working today, how many years can you keep this pace up? How long could you keep going at the way you're going? And if it's not more than 3 to 5 years, you're heading towards this wall where you're going to crash and burn if you don't stop or you don't change direction or figure something out. And I know this because I hit it, but I also know this because I've seen too many business owners hit that wall and come to me and say, I hate my business. I want to burn it to the ground because it's costing me too much. I want to sell it. I want to get rid of it. I've seen people just flat out close it because they can't keep going. And it's such a costly place to be because you've put in all the effort to get there, and your business, if it closes or you hate it and you start operating it differently, it's never going to be the vehicle to the life that you want. But if you enjoy what you're doing and you're taking care of your health and you're working reasonable hours, you could grow a business for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And that's when businesses really become successful, is long-term growth. I see it all the time. People get to 10 years in business and they're like, I can't believe how big my business is. I never intended to aim here. It just happened. It kept growing. People rarely get there in the first 2 years. There's a shift in the mindset that this is a long-term game. And the goal is not to get to a certain place at all costs and then stop. The goal is to build it in a way that you enjoy your life while you're doing it. And it provides the financial stability that you want. And it makes the world better, or it helps more people.
Yeah. I can imagine how many clients you've helped make that shift. Share a success story with us that sticks out to you, that someone that came in and they were grinding and you showed them a new path, helped them discover a new path.
Yeah, one of my favorite success stories in the last few months was a guy who I used to work with. He was a colleague, and we left the business at similar times. I went in to start my own coaching business, and he went and started a marketing agency. And I see this a lot with marketers, but they're so good at marketing that they go very fast. They very quickly grow and get themselves into a place where it becomes overwhelming. And so he had built a very successful business in his first year and a half, was making more money than he's ever made in his life. But he came to me because he said, again, I hate my business. It's taking too big of a toll. I have a newborn baby that I never get to see. I've put on 20 pounds of weight because I'm not exercising. I'm not taking care of my health. My wife, I feel terrible for her because she's just alone with the baby all the time while I'm trying to juggle my clients. And I just don't see a way forwards. This isn't worth it. And so we did this work. We did the vision work. What does a good life look like for you? And then we went down to what does a good week look like for you? We got really clear that a good week was time to spend with his family in the morning before he started work, a nice walk at lunchtime, exercise in the afternoon, Fridays off so he could be at home with his kids. And we created that vision. And then he was like, I want to do this now. I don't want to wait. I want to make this happen. So we figured out that he was working 60 hours a week. I said,
Wow.
what's the stuff that would get in the way of you living this ideal week? And it was about 20 hours a week of client work. And so he went out and he found support to take that work off of his plate. He found another marketer, hired them into the business, gave them 20 hours a week. And then suddenly he had capacity again. He had time in his life. And not only that, but then he realized, oh, actually, I'm enjoying just thinking more strategically. I'm enjoying selling more than doing the work. So he just kept going. He gave this guy suddenly 40 hours a week. And he then hired admin support. Then he hired a bookkeeper. And truly, in 3 months, he basically built out a team and a business that's now doing twice as much revenue in a month while he's working 20 hours less every week. And right now, as we're speaking, he's in Disneyland with his family on a vacation.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's what's possible when we recognize what really matters and then we take the steps to make it happen. And he's still making great money, but now he's doing it in a way that's more sustainable and enjoyable. And now he has big dreams for this business. I want to get it to $1 million a year next year. I want to hire more team. I want to build out a brand around this. Like, he has the capacity to think that way. But just 3 months ago, he was like, I don't know if I want to even continue to do this. So that's what's possible when you commit to those goals.
Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and you only see that I got to grind. This is the only way that I have to grow my business. But you just demonstrated the value of coaching. Honestly, having that intimate conversation with a person where, as coaches, we're vulnerable to in those conversations. That's where the trust really comes from. And that person, your client, was able to open up. And once he opened up, you were able to really help him. And sometimes when we're in that grind, that's when the inner critic is most present, because they're influencing you and you don't have the energy because you're working. And when you don't have the energy is when you're distracted the most. And that distraction comes from the inner critic telling you, you got to compete this, you got to do this, you can't do that. If you stop doing this, you're going to be a failure. All of these different things is how the inner critic just slides his way in to distract you, right? And make you feel that there's no other way. But the fact that he had the opportunity to work with you, to see other possibilities, he started soaring. So that's the value of what coaching brings. Who are your clients? What type of clients are you attracted to and work with the best?
I just want to say that was beautifully said. And I do agree. It's holding space for a person and giving them a hand and letting them like commit to a dream and say, I'm going to go after this every week it's such a privilege as a coach to help people do that and to see that transformation. And that's what drives me. So the people that I like to work with, they're lifestyle oriented. They want a better life. They still want to grow a successful business, but they don't want a 10, 20, 50 million a year giant business. They have different goals. They want to grow a business that pays them well, but gives them time and freedom to enjoy their life today and in the future. And they tend to be service business owners. So they're consultants, they're marketers, they're bookkeepers, they're people who sell their time and their expertise for money. And the reason that's the major client that I work with is, one, because that's what I do and that's what I've done. I've served clients and I've served customers for my whole life. So I know that dynamic. But two, it's because once you sell all your time, you can't create more time. And so if you want to keep growing, you have to learn how to get your time back, how to get results for people without doing it all yourself, how to reduce that dependency on yourself. So the ideal person for me is usually doing 300,000, 400, 500,000 a year. They've got success, but they don't have the lifestyle that they want. And with a couple of small changes, with one new hire or with a couple of systems or a change to their pricing model, they can unlock the time and the capacity and the freedom that they've been craving. And it doesn't have to cost that much.
But what makes you different than anybody that you can find on the internet to help? What separates you?
I really believe that our time is the most valuable asset that we have. And I've built my entire life around maximizing my time and my freedom and truly like always putting my time above all. And that's the mindset that I bring to people when I coach them is, what is your time worth per hour? How much time do you need to live the ideal life that you have? How much time do you want to spend on your business? Not even talking about the money side, because it's very easy to focus on the financial side of business. And most coaches out there, most people, it's going to be all around revenue growth, profit growth, bigger numbers, better every year, go further, double the business, all that. I can help people do all of that, but I do it from the mindset that if you focus on using your time and investing it in the things that you enjoy and are best at, you'll get further. And if you don't feel like you're trading too much time for the success of your business, you'll be in it for much longer.
That's awesome. How can you be found?
I'm on LinkedIn under Jordan Tait. I post content on there almost every day, sharing my philosophy, my perspectives, the things that help. And so that's a great place to follow along. And then my website is theintentionalbusiness.com. And there you can learn a bit more about like my coaching services. There's a free course there for people who want to learn how to grow their business while working less. It's all about efficiency and systems and simple changes you can make to get your life back while you grow. And that's truly just what I'm about. It's build a business.
That's awesome.
Build a business you love and build a life that you love while you're doing it.
That's great. That's great. Any lasting thoughts, words, nuggets that you'd like to share before we close this episode out?
Whoever you are out there who's listening to this podcast, whether you're finding yourself in the grind or you're actually feeling like you're in a pretty good place with your work, just thinking about what matters to me most in this world. What can I not do without? And asking yourself, is the way I'm working helping me get there and get more of that in my life? Or is it actually taking me further away? That question can really help provide some clarity.
Boom. There it is. Jordan Tait, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on today and sharing a lot of insight on how to overcome being in a grind. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mo. I love the questions. I love how deep we went, and I really hope it helps somebody out there.
Take care. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Let's Think About It. Your time and attention are greatly appreciated. If you found value in today's discussion, I encourage you to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Remember, the journey of self-improvement is ongoing, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. Connect with me on social media for updates and insights. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Coach Mo Coaching or LinkedIn at Maurice Mabry. Or visit my website at mauricemabry.com for exclusive content. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep growing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. Remember, the most effective way to do it is to do it. Together, we're making incredible strides toward a better and more empowered you. So thank you, and I'll see you in our next episode.